Okay, I thought I'd do a little video on my thoughts of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 open beta, which was available first on PS5, or if you've got PS4, and on and then later on, a week later, on Xbox One and obviously the Series X. I mean, I played it on both the PS5 and the Series X. First of all, I'd like to say some disclosures first of all, because there are going to be some positives and negatives about the beta, and bear in mind it is the beta, not the full game. So you give them the benefit of the doubt that any problems, there'll be problems in the beta, and hopefully in the full game they'll iron this out. Even though I have my thoughts whether or not I would get it or not. First of all, I was a big Call of Duty fan back in the day. I was totally hardcore. For the most part, I played the games, the campaign first, even though I know the competitiveness of the game is more focused on the multiplayer. But for me, it was the campaign, because I'm not really a online player. Not really. I'm not kind of into it. Some of it to do with internet connections and other problems that I shall discuss in this video. So I'm not going to say that I'm the world's best player on the actual game, because obviously there are people who have YouTube channels devoted to it because experts on the Call of Duty franchise. Same thing with Battlefield, and they know the ins and outs of the games, can explain it much better than me. And as before, I mean, I can hold my own, but by no means am I fantastically good at the game. I can pretty much hold my own. My favourite game was obviously, I think, was Black Ops 1 on the PS3. I mean, at first I was kind of really roughing it, and then after a while, I mean, I started to get good at the game, to a point where people always used to ask me when I'm going to come online to play. And at the time, I never had the time because there was so much going on in my personal life. But that's when I was that's when I was in my prime in the Call of Duty games. And then after a while, I started to get a bit bored of it. Not because I hated the games, but there were problems that were happening with the actual game. And then I kind of flipped to Battlefield. So I had Battlefield 3, kind of really loved that, and Battlefield 4. Obviously, we know that I had problems at the beginning of the game. And then there were a lot of people that used to try and thought just because they were good at Call of Duty that they were good at Battlefield, and they evolved their first-person shooters. They play very differently, so it's kind of a hard learning curve. So when you get to the Battlefield games, you realise kind of how hard the game is. And the thing about Battlefield, which is what I kind of preferred about it at the time of Call of Duty, all those years ago, was that the game was a lot tougher, but it kind of rewarded you that if you kind of persevered with the game, and then you eventually got the best gun that you kind of prefer in that particular class, or the operator as they call it, and then you got the right add-ons that suited your needs. All that hard work kind of paid off. And then we know that after Battlefield 4, things started to kind of go wrong with the actual game, and obviously currently with Battlefield 2049, which wasn't particularly kind of very great, if you know what I mean. So that was my kind of focus on the Battlefield games. So yeah, but going on to Call of Duty, I mean, bearing in mind that I'm playing on a 1080p TV, I'm not playing in 4K, so I'm not going to get the full benefits of the actual game, which is a shame. But I know it probably does look fantastic with 4K. I do know that you can adjust the performance of the actual game, but obviously with adjusting it to tailor it to how you need, you're going to suffer in some areas. So you can change it. So I'll give it credit for that. What I will say about the game is that the actual game is really smooth. The way the game, your character kind of moves around. And then when you kind of obviously again, I'm playing it on a PS5 and then a Series X. Bear in mind when you can compare it to the previous Call of Duty games, they were good, but obviously with the next gen, you can obviously definitely tell how smooth the game is operating. Seems to be running at a solid 60 frames per second, which is kind of cool about the actual game. So that's kind of cool. with Call of Duty, so that's kind of cool. The graphics, I would say they're pretty good. Again, I mean, it is a step up, but for me, from the other previous games like Vanguard and I'm trying to think what's the other one again, there's so many of them. The other Modern Warfare, there is a little bit of a difference where the textures seem to be a lot better, so they seem to be have got their handle on that. Now, in regards to the Xbox Series X and the PS5, in terms of the graphics, to me, there's no difference at all. Unless some experts can sit there and can tell me otherwise, but to me, they're virtually identical. And obviously, in this game, you're going to have cross-play, so again, it doesn't matter which version of the game that you kind of get. You can play it like people on PC, Xbox, or PS5, so that's kind of completely covered, so you're all right there. So yeah, it's kind of, it plays really good. Now, I do have gripes with the game, and this is kind of why I kind of got put off with Call of Duty. One is that some of the things I don't like is when you have people that obviously you'll get shot and killed, and then you don't, and then when the person isn't even on your screen, and then when you see the death from the kill cam, half the time, it's showing a completely different set of events that have happened, which is kind of a bit weird for me. And then sometimes just the spawning on the game isn't kind of very great either, where it can keep constantly spawning you, and then you can spawn right in front of an enemy and then end up being killed. And this is not just localized to Call of Duty. This is a problem that I've noticed in Battlefield with the spawning, which I think is a bit stupid. Again, I don't like some of the things I don't like in the game is when people start jumping up and down as if they're a basketball player, if they're leaping in like a Superman. And then there's the sliding around, which I kind of don't like, and to me, I find that all kind of annoying. Again, I don't know if there's any cheating going on, but in competitive gaming, right, people will always do that because obviously they want to have the best weapons and do all that kind of thing. So I mean, these are a lot like the problems that I actually have with the actual game itself, which isn't kind of exactly great. And for me, that's the reason why I jumped off the bandwagon of the Call of Duty games with these issues. And then obviously I said, well, people pop up in front of you and then they weren't there. You being killed with one shot, camping, you putting an entire clip to somebody, and it's like that it hasn't killed them and then they seem to have killed you. So I don't know whether that's to do with the structure of the game or the internet, depending on their end or your end. But for me, that's what kind of put me off with online gaming, in a sense of that these things affect the game, and then to me, and another gimmick what I kind of don't like is with Activision. It's the same thing with EA with what they do with the FIFA games and then the Madden games. Is every year they come up with this new gimmick where it's the best game ever. We put all these new elements inside the game, and it doesn't feel any different, which is kind of what's the reason why I hopped off FIFA. And then what I just do is I just play the previous year's version of it, and I just get it dirt cheap rather than get the current one. And I don't kind of understand that. And then a couple of things I don't like with the Call of Duty is this new Gunsmith 2.0, as they called it. They've made it so overly kind of complicated to kind of understand it, and I think they should have just kept it to how it was, nice and simple. So when you play, when you go, see your XP goes up, you then start to unlock the attachments and the better stuff for your gun or your rifle, whatever it is that you choose as a particular operator. And then with the new 2.0, it's just so overly complicated, and I don't understand why they needed to do that kind of thing with the actual game. So for me, it's kind of a bit annoying in terms of what they've done with the actual game. So it's kind of, so that's one of my reasons why I won't be buying the Call of Duty games, although I've got quite a lot of them that I've got, but I just haven't got around to playing them because I'm probably more likely to sit there to play the campaign of the actual game rather than the multiplayer. But as I said before, I mean, I was a hardcore player in Call of Duty. I used to, like with FIFA, I used to get them every single year on the PS3 and then play them. I even got there's this jumbo steelbook that you can get where you can put the Call of Duty games in there, and maybe I might do a little video on showing you the collection of the Call of Duty games that I've got so far. And then the last, I think the Call of Duty Modern, I think it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that was on, I think that was online only. I never bought that because again I'm not going to play online. And then all the other Call of Duty games that I've done since the next gen one, since then, I've just played them as an open beta, rather than obviously just buy them. The last game, Call of Duty game I've got is, I think it's Call of Duty Cold War for the PS5, and it's only because when I got gifted the PS5, my nephew gave me a few games to play, so I've actually got that Call of Duty on the PS5, but I haven't played it. But as I said before, I'm not so much huge into the online campaign of the Call of Duty games. For me, I'm more so into just playing the campaign. I know there's some others out there that are like that, the same as me, where for them they're just into the campaign mode of the actual game. So that's what I'm used to. But yeah, can I see myself buying this game? I don't think so, and it's quite expensive to buy all the deluxe versions of it, and it's not worth me spending, if I had it, spending that kind of money in buying that kind of, in all that money in that game, if I'm not really going to enjoy it. Now, just because I didn't absolutely love the beta. I know there are people that out there that do enjoy, that have enjoyed it and do love it, so I don't want to take away their enjoyment of the game. It's just my view and what I kind of thought of it. And again, as I said, I'm not a particularly great player as I once was, and I'm really rusty. So, you know, a lot of people dedicate their time with all the games and playing it hardcore. I'm kind of not like that anymore, and then plus I know that I'm also getting older, so my reactions have kind of slowed down as well. So I mean, I can openly admit that. But yeah, I'm still glad I was able to try it out. I mean, with the PS5 version of it, I managed to get to play that because was it Sky? When you're with Sky TV and you're a Sky VIP member, they gave me the actual code for it and allowed me to choose which platform to play it on. So that's how I kind of got to play it. I mean, Xbox, I think you had to kind of pre-order it. I don't know how it worked. And then over the weekend, they allowed you to kind of play on it even if you haven't pre-ordered the game. So I was able to test it on both systems. Now, the only thing I'd say that's different, aside from not the graphics, is probably the joypad, in the sense that obviously that with the DualSense on the PS5, it's got haptic feedback, so you're going to get like a different way the triggers work and the way the vibration works. And with this Series X pad, it doesn't vibrate as much, and obviously you don't have the haptic feedback on the triggers, so that's going to be a little bit different. And obviously the PS5 pad's a little bit heavier, whereas the Xbox pads, I found them a little bit more ergonomic. So, and then the way the joysticks are placed, so that might factor into your choice as to which platform you decide to play it on. But as I said before, regardless of which one, it's going to be cross-platform anyway, so you're kind of covered there. So those are my kind of like thoughts on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the open beta. So anyway, I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.